let's talk about Shanks and the pirate that he mentioned the Gorosei should be worried about. That's what this theory is going to be about. Now, a lot of people would obviously say Blackbeard. And if you watch one of Brago's latest videos, he mentioned that it couldn't be Blackbeard because the Gorosei already know about Blackbeard. So why would Blackbeard be this big topic that Shanks would bring up to the Gorosei? They're very well aware of the Paramount War, what he's capable of, his fight with Marco, the Payback War, everything. Why would it be Blackbeard? It can't be him. Unless there's something else. Now, I want to allude to something that we may not have thought of. What pirate would warrant Shanks, a Yonko, going up to the most powerful 5 men on the world and warning them in the middle of a reverie where security is at its highest? What entity has had that much of a fear factor in the story? Rox D. Xebec. Rox D. Xebec is the only pirate that we've had outside of Roger that has been such a threat to the world that all the future Yonko were in the same place at one time, including Garp, the hero himself, and teamed up with Roger, the most notorious pirate in the world, just to stop this man. But Xebec is dead. So how can it be Xebec? Well, let's dissect that. Do you remember when Blackbeard was the discussion of Shanks and Whitebeard when he was warning him that Ace shouldn't go after Blackbeard? Do you remember that? Do you remember what Shanks said? Shanks said, I was on guard. The scar that hurts the most is the one Blackbeard gave me. But what shocks me the most is I wasn't caught off guard. I was prepared. But he still got me. And I thought to myself, why? Why would Shanks get caught off guard by Blackbeard? Why? Why would that happen? And then I think to myself, now this might be Magi spoilers, but I'll try my best not to spoil. If you haven't read Magi, just mute for a second and I'll explain to you the concept of what I'm talking about. But if you remember Sinbad and David, David inhabited Sinbad. And his consciousness was within Sinbad, and he was guiding him through his challenges, and it was basically 2 people, but it was really just 1 person, but he was a unique entity. Now, I'm tying this concept into Blackbeard because there's a lot of hints to another entity residing within Blackbeard. The point is I believe the consciousness of Xebec is within Blackbeard. And now, if you notice, there's a lot of hints to the uniqueness of Blackbeard. When we were in Jaya, Zoro and Luffy said, oh, there's more than one of them. Why did they say that? Marco mentioned there's something off about Blackbeard's body. If Zoro and Luffy and Marco can pick this out, what if in the moment in time where Shanks and Blackbeard had confronted in the past, what if that consciousness of Xebec was the thing that Shanks had not foreseen? There's no way Shanks could have foreseen something like that happening. And that caught him off guard. And then Blackbeard got his strike in. And he's like, what was that? I don't understand. Where did that come from? So then he thought maybe it's just that Blackbeard was withholding his power. And that's why I'm telling Whitebeard now, he's been hiding his strength for 20 years. Don't let Ace fight this guy. Now you might be wondering, okay, so what does that have to do with what Shanks was talking about? So let's go on. Let's continue on. So if you notice with Blackbeard, there's a lot of parallels between him and Xebec. What, you ask? Let's think about it. Why can't Blackbeard sleep? There has to be some sort of disturbance. It's either he is not of this world, or there has to be some sort of disturbance within him that's not allowing him to sleep. What if it's the consciousness that's living within him, that's constantly speaking to him and guiding him? And you say speaking and guiding to him, well, let's think about Blackbeard's behavior. What did Xebec do? He gathered the world's greatest criminals, or the world's most notorious pirates, on Beehive Island and subjugated all of them, and wanted to travel the world. He wanted to find out all the world's secrets. He wanted to dominate the world. He wanted power, low key or high key. He wanted to be the pirate king that wasn't established then, but he wanted to go farther. If you look at Blackbeard's behavior, what has Blackbeard done? Blackbeard went to Impel Down and freed one of the world's greatest criminals, to join his crew. Where did Blackbeard reside after he finally settled down, defeated Marco, became a Yonko, and stole Whitebeard's fruit? Oh, that's right, Beehive Island. What is the name of the ship of Blackbeard? The Saber of Xebec. I wonder where he got that inspiration. What are Blackbeard's dreams and goals? Power. The secrets of the world. He wants to be the Pirate King. He wants to find the One Piece. Let's not forget that Marshall D. Teach, he's also a D. So we have Blackbeard not being able to sleep. We already have confirmed evidence that there is something within him that people can sense, but they don't know what it is. Both Marco and Luffy has already said it. So if Shanks, who's arguably the most perceptive pirate we have in the story, reminisces of what could have that presence been, and then we go back to God Valley. We don't know Shanks' backstory, do we? I wonder why. Maybe it's something Oda's withholding. Maybe his backstory is key to a very specific event in the story. God Valley. Shanks is 39 years old. God Valley was 38 years ago. A lot of people theorize that Shanks could have been a son or child of Xebec, or a son and child of the Gorosei, the Celestial Dragons. If Shanks was in God Valley, he would have had an inkling of the presence of Xebec, because if he was rescued by Roger, maybe that's how Roger took him in, maybe that's how the Celestial Dragons know who he is. One way or another, Shanks is tied to the Celestial Dragons. And if he was at God Valley and has already had a whiff of the presence of Rox D. Xebec, where he died, where he was probably at his strongest, where his presence is exuded all over the island, you don't think after a while Shanks would think, oh, wait a minute. That presence I felt back then, the behavior of Blackbeard is very similar to what I heard from Roger about Xebec. There's another person within him. I sense it. Gorosei, we have a problem. If Xebec is still alive, the pirate we need to be worried about is Blackbeard, because if Blackbeard and Xebec are somehow tied together, the problems that we'll have will dwarf what we have in God Valley, because Blackbeard has the Darkness Devil Fruit, so we can counter the Admirals with his Devil Fruit. He also has Whitebeard's Devil Fruit, which is the most destructive Devil Fruit we have in the world outside of Akainus. He has the power and influence already, and he's a Yonko. And now he's on the move too? Shanks probably has to intercept him, and he probably thinks he can't beat him now. We don't know that yet, but we know Shanks and Blackbeard will have a confrontation in the future. So when people say Blackbeard isn't the pirate they're talking about, because they already know about Blackbeard from the Paramount War and the Payback War and all the things that he's accomplished up to this point, maybe there's just a missing piece of information that nobody else knows besides Shanks, and Shanks would be the only person that would know, because if he's connected to the Gorosei and he's connected to the Celestial Dragons, and he sensed the presence of Xebec within Blackbeard, and Oda has foreshadowed the connection between Blackbeard and Xebec in the most blatant way we've ever seen. Xebec, Blackbeard, Shanks, that is it. That's the key. We're gonna find out more about Xebec. He's either tied to Blackbeard or Shanks, or both of them. And that's probably the topic of the conversation, because I can't think of any other pirate on this earth that would warrant Shanks going to the Gorosei and warning them, because again, the Gorosei care about the balance of the world. Shanks knows Luffy. Luffy doesn't care about the balance of the world at all. Shanks knows Luffy, so Shanks doesn't have to worry about Luffy. Shanks is all about balance, and so will the Gorosei. Who is somebody that would shake the fabric of the world today with pure chaos? I don't know, maybe the guy who freed all the prisoners from Impel Down. Maybe the guy who appeared in Marineford, tried to destroy Marineford in the most heightened moment we've had in the story up to this point. To me, it has to be Blackbeard. And if it's Blackbeard, it has to be something else that would warrant Shanks warning the Gorosei. And I think it's the fact that Xebec's consciousness resides within Blackbeard. Blackbeard has been getting instructions from Xebec this entire time. Think about this. Why did Blackbeard beg to be on Whitebeard's ship? Did Blackbeard know who Whitebeard was? He could have. But what if he was led there? Blackbeard has always been cunning. Blackbeard has been hiding his intention for 20 years. You don't think it was preconceived for Blackbeard to show up there and beg to be on Whitebeard's ship in order to find the devil fruit that he just so happened to read in this devil fruit book? I wonder where he figured out about the darkness fruit. I wonder why he knew the darkness fruit was the fruit he should have gotten. What if Xebec's old fruit was the darkness fruit? Do you ever wonder how Xebec could be so powerful to subjugate allies like Shiki, a devil fruit user, Whitebeard, a devil fruit user, Big Mom, a devil fruit user, and an apprentice Kaido? What if the devil fruits were useless before him, on top of the fact that he was a hockey master? And the only way to defeat someone like Xebec would be someone who is a hockey master who doesn't have the weakness of a devil fruit. I don't know, maybe Garp? Maybe Roger, who's not confirmed to have a devil fruit? There's a lot of missing pieces here. There's a lots of threads here, but if you try and put everything together, if you put your crazy One Piece tinfoil hat on, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Food for thought. And I'll leave it at that. Yo everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe here to get the latest from the channel, or also check out some other videos that might suit your specific tastes.